1, 2, ready, go. Rest, 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 rest. And that does it for our exercises with the note E. Now it's a little bit boring to just play with two notes, D and E, and then maybe even adding in the open A. But as soon as we add the third note on the D string, which is our F sharp, we unlock many songs that we can play, as we saw in our yellow pages of the book where we learned Mary Had a Little Lamb, French Folk Song, and a few others. So now we're looking at our new note, which is F sharp. F sharp is another space note. It's nestled right in the first space, the bottom space of our staff. And you could figure this out if you look in the blue box. It says D, E, and then F sharp. That first note is your open D, it's down below the staff. Then E is the note that's on the first line, and then F sharp is right above that. That is your second finger on the D string. So what we'll do now is you can do the same thing, pause the video, look through, we're going to go to number 33, keeping the first finger down, and read through the notes on that one. It only is containing those three notes, D, E, and F sharp. There aren't any open A's in this one. The reason the song is called Keeping the First Down is because, as a reminder, whenever we play the note F sharp, our second finger, we want to make sure our first finger is also down. It shouldn't be popping up and having a party over here. So we want to make sure that as we play D, E, and F sharp, that our E is still down. The first finger is down when we play the second finger. All right, so go ahead and read through the notes and then come back and we'll play through number 33 together. Here is Keeping the First Down. 1, 2, ready, go. Now, with those three notes, we'll be able to play through our other songs that we learned, Mary Had a Little Lamb, French Folk Song, and they're still in the book. So if you would turn your page over to page 20, you'll see there's our Mary Had a Little Lamb. It starts on our F sharp. You'll notice it starts on the the first space. It's that first space right at the bottom of the staff. So we're starting with our F sharp down. And again, without turning back to the yellow pages where you can see the letters, see if you can read through all the way with your finger on each note. F sharp, E, D, E. And then when you're ready, we're going to play through it. And as you play, don't just try and play from memory. Play by reading the notes. When you see the F sharp, you play F sharp. When you see E, you play E. And when you see D, you play open D. Here we go. This is Mary Had a Little Lamb. Starting with our second finger on F sharp. 1, 2, 3, 4. Cool, so now we can play songs with D, E, F sharp, and even open A. One of the techniques that we'll learn now is called a bow lift. You'll see this in the red box. A bow lift looks like an apostrophe, as we would write. It's just a little squiggle. And a bow lift is when we have done a down bow, and we need to do another down bow. But you might notice there's not room. I don't have enough room to do another down bow. So what I do is I pick the bow up, and I do a circle. I'm going to do a circle and land the bow back at the frog. So let's do a couple bow lifts now. If you start the bow at the frog, and let's just play open D first. So do a long open D, and then at the tip, lift your bow and land it back at the frog. We want to be careful with our lifts that when we land, we have a very soft, quiet landing. We don't want to throw the bow down because you'll get those crunches, or you might accidentally play a little bit and crunch or play on the other string. So always lift quietly and land like a ninja very softly back on the D string. Okay, you'll see these in the music. You can see it in Hot Cross Buns, number 39. We're going to play through number 40, French Folk Song. And if you look in the fourth measure, so as you count 1, 2, 3, 4, you'll see that where the rest is, there's a little apostrophe. That is our bow lift symbol. It's telling us to do a circle to go back to the frog so we can start down bow again. So let's go ahead and play through French Folk Song, number 40. Setting our bow on the D string. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bow lift. And we have another, oh, there's not a bow lift written there. I just did one for fun. But whenever you see the apostrophe there, you can always reset your bow, get to the frog, and the purpose of doing this is to give us more room so we can do another down bow. Okay, go ahead and on your own, read through the rest of page 20. You know all the notes that are there. They're all either D, E, or F sharp, or maybe even your open A. And they're all going to be either quarter notes. Those are our one count notes, 2, 3, 4, or our half notes, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now, if we were to follow the progression of seeing a D note and then adding it and making it an E note on the line, and then we add and we go up to an F sharp. If we were to go to the next line above that F sharp space, what would that be? Well, think about your alphabet. D, E, F sharp, G. That's your third finger. So if you look to page 21, you'll see that here is where we learn to play G, our third finger on the D string. G lives on that second line. So our first space down at the bottom underneath the staff was D, then the first line was E, then the first space in the staff was our F sharp, and now the second line is G. Whenever you see a note head right on that second line, that's going to be G, and the space right above that is the one we already learned, which is our open A. So let's go ahead and we're going to put this right into practice. We're going to go to number 47, leaving fingers down, and 47 follows the same principle that we had when we were playing Keep the First Finger Down, and you'll notice the finger numbers underneath the notes. It has a long line after it, and that's just reminding you, keep your fingers down as you're walking up. By the time you get to your third finger, G, you should also have 1 and 2 down as well. They shouldn't be lifting up and having a dance party in the air. So keep your fingers down as you walk up the fingerboard. So here we go. This is number 47, leave fingers down. Starting on the open D string, 1, 2, ready, go. 2. Okay, and on the last half of that song, I was counting to 2 for each of the half notes. Just as a reminder to myself, make sure I hold the bow, move a slower bow for 2 counts for each note. If we don't count in our heads or out loud, oftentimes we get faster and faster, and we're not actually going to give the notes 2 full value of count. So make sure that you're counting along 1, 2, 1, 2 as you're playing those half notes. All right, now we're going to skip down to number 51 because this is a song that I'm sure you've all heard before. It's a fantastic song. It's taken from a symphony theme written by Beethoven, and it's called Ode to Joy. Number 51 is Ode to Joy, and it includes our F sharp, our G, our open A, and our open D. So this is really the boss level song. It's taking everything we've learned so far and putting it together. We've also got our combination of half notes and quarter notes, as well as a bow retake in the middle. You'll see the bow lift, the apostrophe, the circle sign right in the middle there, where we're going to pick up the bow and go back to the frog. So before you play this one, analyze it. Be a music detective. Ask yourself, what are the notes? Read through them. So you'll read F, F, G, A, G, F, E. Keep reading through, and whenever you see a half note, maybe circle it so you remember in your mind, count to 2. 1, 2. Okay? Maybe circle the bow lift there so you remind yourself, pick up your bow and go back to the frog. All right, so here is Ode to Joy. You might notice before the very first note, there's 3 little dots going up. That's just a reminder telling you, before you play F sharp, which is our first note, walk up to the F sharp. D, E, F sharp. That way we have it in tune. And then when we set our third finger G, always make sure it squeezes down. It needs to be a half step, a very close distance from the second finger to the third finger. So even though our first finger to second finger is kind of a space away, our third finger falls right next to the second finger. All right, here we go. Ode to Joy. Set your F sharp, so walk up, D, E, F sharp. 1, 2, ready, go. Ode to Joy. It's a great song, really fun to play. As you practice it, see if you can incorporate those tunnels that we did back on learning the note E, where we set the first finger down and then played the open A. You'll notice in Ode to Joy, when you play F, F, G, A, the lines are still there underneath to tell us keep the third and second finger down when we play the open A. So you'll play F, G, and then open A, with all 3 fingers still on the D string. That's an ultimate tunnel right there. If you have all 3 fingers down and can still play A. If you try that and you hear this, remember that means that the back of your fingers, which are on the D string, the back of the fingers are touching the A string slightly. So you might need to just adjust your hand ever so slightly, or just stand your fingers up on their tippy toes so that none of them are touching the A string. If you've been playing with flat fingers, setting them down like this, you're not going to get a good tunnel. So make sure that we have good rainbow fingers, they're rounded, and they're standing up on their tippy toes. So that does it for today. We've learned now 5 notes we can play and read on the page: D, E, F sharp, G, and open A, and we can read them with both quarter notes and half notes.